All right, so welcome to day 11 of 12 Days of Business. I am so excited to get into this episode because I think it's one that you are going to be very excited about if you care about my thoughts. And that is my 2025 predictions. While I didn't do a 2024 predictions, I did do an in and out list at the end of 2024 because it was something that was trending. And so I want to touch on what I said was in and out and if I think they actually came true, and then talk about what I think is going to happen in 2025. I'm going to keep this to marketing specific on the podcast because this is a marketing podcast and I am a marketing person. So we're going to keep it there, but I do have a lot more thoughts and I'll probably be sharing them on threads. If you're curious, you can scroll through my December threads and I'm sure you'll find my predictions no later than don't scroll back farther than the 7th because it's the 7th now and I haven't posted any yet. Anyways, so in 2024, I said what would come in would be full case studies, screenshots with no context would be dead. Having an omnipresence and seeing conversions on all platforms would be in. Blogs coming back, but SEO and long form content will be prioritized, and Pinterest will also see a rise as a discoverability platform. Out would be posting every day on social media. The people want quality, not quantity. Hiring coaches for accountability. In 2024, we get a therapist or learn a skill. Copy pasting your caption to email and calling it content repurposing. I think that was more of my desire. And monetizing every hobby you've ever had. So what we saw, full case studies definitely came in. I don't know if you're familiar with Jocelyn, who runs Scale Your Residence. She literally closed her video podcasting agency to focus solely on helping people create case studies, build out their case studies, have case study systems because of how important they are for your business and your conversions. And it's true. I've seen Emma from Right Hand Glam talk about how screenshots are dead. No one's interested in seeing those screenshot conversations. We've all been burned. 2024 was the year that we all accepted and were open about being burned, and the screenshots don't cut it anymore. I would say I do like half case studies. I tend to talk about like conversations I'm in the middle of having and stuff, but it's something I want to get better at in 2025. But I definitely saw results from sharing case studies on threads and in my emails this year alone. Having an omnipresence and seeing conversions from all platforms is actually something that I still believe will continue to get bigger in 2025 because we saw Twitter go down this year. We saw Instagram just get absolute shit on. So many people move away from. There's been a big move to Threads and to YouTube and to LinkedIn. I'm going to get into that in more of my 2025 predictions, but there's definitely been big movements of platforms this year. And I think being able to be found on multiple platforms isn't going away, and definitely was something that became more important in 2024. So I'm like checking myself off for those first two. Blogs are back, but SEO and long form will be prioritized. This one kind of got fucked over by Google's update in August where they absolutely destroyed everyone's SEO reach. That being said, I have seen more and more people get into blogging. I myself have finally prioritized blogging after saying for years that I would. And I know I see Jana O all over my Threads account with talking about blogging. I see people tagging her and things all the time about her blogging strategy for service providers, for coaches, signing clients without SEO. So I think SEO will continue to get bigger. And I do have comments about long form, like I do with omnipresence for my 2025 predictions. But it's not blogging that I see people moving towards, which is interesting. So on that note, Pinterest will continue to rise. I didn't see the numbers or the comments that I was expecting around Pinterest for 2024. I thought I would see more people prioritizing Pinterest, and I didn't. I saw more people moving to other platforms that we're going to talk about. So that one, I don't give myself a check mark. The other three, first two, definite check mark. Blogs, I give myself like a half check. Pinterest, no check. But for out, posting every day definitely went out the window. I think 9Grids came back with a vengeance on Instagram. I think people are doing seasonal podcasts or bi-weekly podcasts instead of weekly. I've seen roundup emails and definitely less frequent weekly emails from people. So I think the everyday always be on boat is sailing. Hiring coaches for accountability definitely went out the window. I think that coaching and even done for you offers got way more specific in 2024. And I think people really struggled with selling this year. I think there was a huge change in buying behaviors, and that really affected the coaching industry. I saw people move to Done For You who were coaches. I saw a lot of coaches go back to traditional jobs. So I don't see this changing in 2025. I see this staying the same. People want quick wins. People want hard skills. People aren't looking for that get in the room energy anymore that used to be sold for coaching. That honestly was a scam. Copy pasting your captions to email is still something I see people doing, but I see a lot more people talking about how they don't like it. So like, kudos to me. And monetizing every hobby you ever created, I think that went out the window as well. And I'm very happy because it was very, very unhealthy. But I see a lot of people sharing like their crocheting or their cooking. Like me, I've started doing some more cooking, and I like sharing the recipes that I've tried. What else have I seen? I asked about hobbies the other day, and a lot of people were talking about how they've gotten into sewing, but I don't see any of them trying to sell their sewing crafts on Instagram like they would have been if it was 2020. So I think the Outlist also did quite well. Now, let's talk about my 2025 predictions. This is definitely going to be the longest episode of the series, but it's okay. We're almost done. All right. So platform-wise, I think Threads will continue to get more and more popular. I have seen a lot of talk about Blue Sky, whatever, I think it's called Blue Sky. It's the platform that's trying to come in as everyone's leaving Twitter because Musk killed it. But what I'm seeing and hearing is that it's getting all of the Twitter heads that people in my circle didn't want to be around. It's getting like the political, the red side of the US, if I may, and it's not appealing at all to me. I did see someone say that they think it would become more popular because they're not deprioritizing posts that have links. But me, myself, I post threads with links all the time, and I still get link clicks, and I still get sales, and I still get constant good reach on my thread. So I'm not sure I agree with that point at all. But I do think, and this is going to be really unpopular, I do think that Instagram is going to have a quiet phase out in the same way that Facebook did. 2020, even up until 2022, I would say that Facebook groups were big, not just because people were using them for their coaching programs, but also like the community focused groups. Like I used to use the break room all the time for hiring, for looking at jobs, and I think that group died. You know, it was one of the biggest ones I knew for service providers, and it definitely died off. Same with I was in one for Fiverr. The girl who was running that, she's now building a self-sustaining farm with some Amish people in New York. Like that group died off. So like I think Instagram is going to have a slow, quiet die off. And I think we're going to see big moves of people moving to LinkedIn. We've already seen it. And I think we're going to see another big move of people moving to YouTube. I saw something really interesting the other day by Jamar Diggs, who is a YouTube strategist. And by the way, everyone that I'm mentioning is going to be tagged in the show notes because like I'm doing a lot of name dropping with this. But so he made a thread about YouTube versus podcasts and how podcasts are good for nurturing and education, which we know, but podcasts aren't as strong for discoverability. They are not the platform if you don't already have an audience. And I 100% agreed when I read this because I'm guilty of that. I thought I was going to start my podcast. It was going to bring me all these new clients. But what it actually does is it helps shorten my conversion time because it brings people who are already in my world, because people who are already in my world end up listening to the podcast and then signing. but it doesn't necessarily bring new people. New people that find me on other podcasts don't tend to go listen to my show. They tend to come find me on social media or join my email list. So podcasts aren't the top of funnel marketing platform that I think they were originally positioned as. And I think we're getting wiser to that. And because of that, I think people are going with YouTube, especially because podcasts have switched more towards video podcasts. As you can see, I do a video podcast. And so it's like, if you're already filming the video and recording these things, why not make them for YouTube instead? And so I think that we are going to see people that are going to start using YouTube as part of their top of funnel marketing strategy, especially in the service-based business. I'm just going to leave it there because I don't know how to concisely say my thoughts on that, but I think YouTube is going to be a top contender for a long form type of content that is just going to continue to gain popularity in 2025. Another prediction I have is that a lot of people that we thought were killing it 2020, 2022 are just going to ghost their Instagram accounts and go get corporate jobs or go get different types of work than what they were doing. Whether they're going to open brick and mortars with the money they saved, or they need to go and get something with a steady paycheck because they didn't save their money, that's on them. But I think 2024 was the hardest year on a lot of us in the last 5 years. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about how hard it's been for them. I think they're trying to act as if, and they're going to act themselves as if into a hole, aka debt, or out of their business. I think there already is resentment developing from people trying to power through the hard times and just hope that it goes back to how it was instead of switching and experimenting like they need to be doing. So I'm really curious to see who. I don't actually have like my eye on anyone that I'm like, this person's going down, but I definitely do think there's going to be mass changes in who the big name gurus are as we lead into the new year. Because there will always be new gurus. Someone will just replace the Amy Porterfields and the Jenna Kutchers on the totem poles. The last one I want to talk about and that I'm really torn about is Substack. I see so much potential for Substack, but at the same time, I see Substack as the Gen Z medium. Medium, like the platform that used to be for blogging. If you didn't want to have your own blog, you could blog on Medium, and there were publications that you could get published on Medium, but that Medium wasn't owned content and only did so much for you because you couldn't just copy paste it to your own website because it was already posted, and you end up cannibalizing or getting into trouble with Google because it was double posting and it looked like plagiarism, right? I like Substack. I like the ability to monetize and have a paid community. But is it going to take over for email marketing? I don't think so. Is it going to get bigger than it is right now? I do think so. But how much bigger? And is it going to burn out like Clubhouse? I'm not sure. I could really see it going either way. So that's where my 2025 predictions are at. Please, please, please slide in my DMs, comment on my threads, send me an email. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're predicting. I love this time of year. I love the 2024 wrap-ups, the 2025 predictions. This kind of stuff, like data-based thoughts and content, are things that really excite me. So if you are having thoughts, if you completely disagree with something I said, or you think I missed something major in a marketing based 2025 prediction, tell me. I want to hear it. Like, I'm not being like cute. I literally want to hear what you're thinking and what you have to say. But I'm going to wrap that up there, and tomorrow we will see each other with the last episode of 12 Days of Business. I'm going to keep you on your toes and not tell you what it is, but I'm very excited for you to listen, and I can't wait to hear from all of you. Oh, and before I sign off, I have been teasing the 2 beta spots for Done For You, but I do have some hot leads in my DMs as of December 7th. So actually, it's December 6th today. So I do have some hot leads in my DMs as of December 6th. So if you are considering working with my agency, FD Studio, if you are wanting Done For You repurposed content, please, please, please don't wait. Send me an email, info@fellyday.com. Let's talk about how this can work for you. See if one of these beta spots are right for you. Beta spots give you a $500 off per month and a shorter retainer. It's only a 2-month retainer instead of a 3-month retainer because I do want it to have more than 1 month. So I didn't want to give you a 1-month commitment. But also, I'm not locking you in. The point of the beta is that it's testing and you're giving me the feedback as well. So if you're looking at one of those spots, if you've been hemming and hawing and like hearing me drop hints about it throughout this series and it's on your radar, it's a speak now kind of situation because you might have to hold your peace. You won't have to hold your peace. You'll have to pay full price and you'll have to lock in for a 3-month retainer, which isn't a bad thing because I guarantee you're going to want to keep us all 2025 because who would say no to unlimited content and who would give up their unlimited content once they experienced it, right? So I'm going to leave you there. Love you and leave you. And as always, don't forget to stay unprofessional.